Hi everyone, if you're new here, I'm Joanna and welcome to my channel. Family dinners and holidays can be really annoying, but when you're spending them as a vegan, this is like a whole new level and not really easy to tackle. So that's why in today's video I really want to talk about how to be a vegan during the holidays. So how to deal with friends and family during holidays like Christmas or Easter or whatever there is, while being the only one that is plant-based. First off, it's really hard, and I'm not gonna lie here because I've not been vegan for a long time, and I think in the beginning it's really difficult for people to really understand why are you doing this, and they also might be offended because they don't want to eat something that they cooked or they baked. Especially in the family, I think this could be really hard for them to understand. Maybe they are also trying to convince you to eat the things that are not vegan. But sometimes I don't really know if being ignorant or looking for an argument is the worst thing. But either way, like, sympathy is not really something that I've come across until now very often, especially within family. With friends, it's like a little bit different thing because friends are mostly in the similar age. This community of the people that have the similar age very often have the same like ideologies or the same views on things. So I think within friends it could be much more easier because I don't know, I know many people that are vegetarian or even vegan. So I think family dinners and family occasions are the thing that for me are most sad and most difficult to really be there. Growing up in a completely different mindset of what a healthy and a good diet is, it's really hard to get people parents to understand your way of thinking and why are you thinking like this. Because if you imagine, this is really hard for them because they have raised you, and in that sense you're telling them they've done it wrong. But it's not like that. It's just things change in science and things change generally. These things are never static, so you cannot blame them, of course, but I think understanding that they may feel like that is really important. For me, it was like I wasn't like radically saying today I'm eating meat and tomorrow I'm not, because there was like a really long transition time when I was vegetarian, and this was also really difficult for me, even though it was like maybe 2 to 3 years with on and off. And even though I've done this, like the transition to veganism was really difficult and in my family. So I can even imagine how difficult it is when you never like prepared someone in that sense. I could really talk way much longer about this, but let's get into the topic of this video and finish off the introduction. So in this video I want to talk with you about 5 things that I collected, or 5 methods that I learned the hard way, most of them, and in my opinion are key to survive a gathering. So first of all, take it slowly. So I found that telling someone to cook for you something vegan or something different, or changing the whole menu is not the way to go, because many people really feel overrun and anxious because they don't know what to do. They're probably never thought about how to cook differently. I think it's not a good thing to put a person in a position like that, to convince them to do something different, like eating plant-based. Yeah, and also humans mostly don't assimilate like habits overnight, so there needs to be some time for them to do this, and you cannot really go to them and just say, all right, tomorrow I want to eat only plant-based and nothing else. And especially if you do like a gathering or something and maybe you are not old enough to really put into something, but it could be really difficult to just say like everything has to be vegan, because there's not an easy task for people that have cooked the whole life with meat, with dairy and things like that. And I've experienced this a lot with my family because I never actually asked them to cook for me, but somehow my parents just felt the way that they have to cook for something vegan for me, and this was really a not good situation because they thought I'm pressuring them to do that. I think taking things slowly and maybe having like a transition time of not saying that on Easter everything has to be vegan, but to say that some things could be like really simple things that are really easy to substitute like that, to give the people time to adjust. It's not said that they have to eat that, but there is like a time to assimilate for what you are willing to eat and what is your mindset. The second point really connects with the first one, that making vegan food by yourself and presenting and proposing them to your family and friends may be a really good idea, because as I said, probably the people that are around you and have never heard of this and have never thought about this may have really difficulties to adjust to this. So making your own initiative, and even if you haven't cooked before, maybe this could be like a start for you to cooking and showing them how this vegan diet really functions, and you can really contribute to the buffet, to the dinner, to the lunch, along the other things. Of course, then there is no like 100% vegan buffet, but I think even putting some things into this may be really cool, because first of all, you have something to eat and the other people may be convinced through the really tasty food about plant-based diet. The other reason why this is a good idea is that you're not like imposing your mindset on other people, because this is something additional maybe. So you're not really changing anything, you're just proposing something additional that some people can try or don't have to try. It doesn't really matter. I've had really positive experiences that people said it was really tasty what I did, that these vegan things are really cool, but sometimes it also can be really hurtful when people are not willing to try something just because you said this is vegan, maybe you can try this, it's really tasty, because people have like this prejudice that this cannot be tasty because it doesn't have butter, because it doesn't have meat or things like that. So this can be really difficult sometimes, and of course there are really different environments of people, but in the most cases I experienced that the people just don't think that vegan food is good, just out of principle. And there I found that maybe not telling them that something is vegan might be a really good step, because then you don't have like this biased thinking already, because it's just like food, and if they try it, maybe then you can say, alright, you really liked it, and by the way it was vegan, so what do you think about this? And I think doing it like that, it's not, some people maybe call it lying or something, but I think this is just a fair way to get people to try these things, these new things that they are not really accustomed to. The third point is about preparing your arguments and facts. If you're vegan, you probably have watched a lot of documentaries and YouTube videos, listened to podcasts and made a lot of research, but still it may be really hard when you have like an argument which will start sooner or later. I'm sure of that. Not get yourself beaten because you don't have any facts and arguments anymore. So you really have to have like an arsenal of arguments and figures that you can slash at them, you know, like really that the people just know that you really know what you're talking about, because they will just continue putting you in a pit hole. So just really know all the figures and the facts. It's really important to not get in a really bad argument that ends in the way that you don't have any arguments anymore, and that the other person or other people have the feeling that you don't know what you're talking about. That's why it's really important, and I think it's always really important. It doesn't matter which argument, but if you know what you're talking about and show that you are informed and that you know what you're talking about, is the way to go, because otherwise people won't listen to you. The fourth thing is staying calm, and I really suck at it. Getting over emotional or angry or aggressive is really not the way to go, but I know it's really difficult not to sometimes. It can be really provoking at times when other people are ignoring your needs and your beliefs, but vice versa also, you are somehow trying to impose, maybe not impose, but to propose a different lifestyle for them, because you're saying that what they are doing is no longer adequate or any good. Getting angry most of the times results in a more negative reaction. You're very probably to be called an extremist because you are reacting so vehemently. So even when the people are trying to tease you or to provoke you, I think keeping a cool head is really important, because acting really aggressive or angry is exactly the reaction they want you to have. They want to prove you wrong. Staying calm is very important, as giving the impression of an aggressive vegan is not the best marketing strategy in that sense. So I really think that this is something that is really difficult not to do, but it's also very important to try and to not let yourself be provoked and be teased, because it can probably just result in something negative. The last thing here is don't push anything. Pushing someone to do something in general is not a good idea, and it's also not a good strategy to make someone accept a different argument or a different mindset. That's why it's very important to have your argument prepared, and it's not only for this kind of arguments, but for every kind of argument. You are not able to convince people when you don't have like good arguments, but you're trying to push something upon someone. So having your arguments prepared is really important. So the most you can do is to present them, maybe repetitively, and just hope that someday they will understand what you're talking about and what your ideology is. Sometimes it may be really difficult not to push something, because I found from my own experience that people are often like on purpose trying to tease you or to provoke you, and then doing like in a revenge kind of sort of thing to tease them as well and to comment them how they eat or what they're doing is not really a good idea. And I'm saying that because I'm still not like a pro in it, because I'm still having like this issue with seeing that people are like not listening to me, and this is really difficult and sometimes really hurtful, because you just think that they're doing something bad for themselves. They just don't see it. But I think that not doing or like not telling them what you do too often, or maybe you can say it once or twice, but when you're really like having like the holiday with the family and you're telling like every 5 minutes what are you eating and why don't you want to try something I did, can have like the reverse result. Alright friends, this was my little kind of reflective video, and I hoped you could find some value in it. Subscribe to my channel and give this video a thumbs up, I would really appreciate it. Wishing you a happy Easter and hoping to see you soon.